So this particular project, the Viking ship and the shields, it began with a teacher who was in the 6-7 division for a long time, Diane Short. And she found a novel called Sea of Trolls by Nancy Farmer. She felt like it was a good book, but it would also connect. And so as they began to go into it, one of the things that she's kind of famous for, in my opinion, is that she creates these great hands-on projects with the novels that she teaches. So in this case, she came up with this idea of making Viking shields. And so that's sort of how it started. When I came on board, it was her last year in the division, and we worked together to create the next kind of iteration of this, which was to create a Viking ship. So we got some wood planks and we got some drills and we started making some holes and burning through some drills and burning through some drill bits and having a good time with it. We created some planks that were usable enough to put some oars through, and then we set it up underneath the sort of covered area in the 7th grade building, and it sort of creates a nice little Viking ship. So the students can get in there, they can kind of row, they can sort of work on how does that look like if you're in a ship, how do you work together to get to your destination, especially when you're depending on rowing. And so it's a lot of fun for them. We sing some of the songs that are in the book that the Vikings sing when they're out in their ships, talking about fame and some of the other important aspects of, or at least the things that they valued. But it was also a practical tool for them to use to help organize and coordinate the rowing. So yeah, we end up having a really good time with it. In order to make the shields, we've had to figure out something that would be practical, that we could easily make for, when we're talking about our grade level, we're talking about 160 students. And so we needed to have enough resources that are fairly inexpensive to be able to make that happen. And so we end up using a lot of the recycled cardboard from around campus. They'll come up with their design, the pattern. I'll show them lots of examples of shields, and then they come in and they spend a few days painting and gluing it together. We put a little handle on it and try to make a little boss on the center of it as best we can. I always like that part because they're the kids that are really kind of the engineer types, they come up with their own spin on it and they create these really cool sort of designs that are, a lot of times they try to be more authentic, and it ends up being great. After the rowing, they've always asked, can we do some raiding? We want to go raiding. And of course I'm going to say no to that. And then I finally came up with this idea that we could actually figure this out. So I pretended as if it was going to be a 7th grade teacher appreciation day, and the parents were bringing all these pies, and I was trying to kind of hype it up in that way. And so after they rode, we kind of stormed into my office and grabbed the pies like they were stealing them, and then, of course they really weren't, but the 7th grade parents were graciously donating them, and so it was a good time. We had a good time with that. But they liked, I think that aspect that I added this year really helped make it more of a celebration. When I came here from a public school setting, I felt like this was making an all-star team. I mean, the teachers here are all trying to find the best ways to reach their students with their content. And one of those ways, especially for kids in the middle grades, is hands-on activities. I mean, that's just research proven. I think other schools, larger classrooms, different settings, they just don't have access to some of the things that we can provide for them. So yeah, I think it's a big part of what really, it's sort of their takeaways a lot of times. I mean, they'll learn lots of great material in lots of different classes, but the stuff that they tend to bring up first when you ask them about, it's usually these kind of big projects, these hands-on kind of projects. They seem to enjoy them the most and get the most learning out of them.